Evil Lives Here Season 18 Episode 4, Trapped Abroad, is a raw and emotional journey into the life of Eline, a woman whose dream of adventure quickly turned into a nightmare of abuse and survival. The episode takes viewers through her harrowing experience, from the early days of hope and romance to the terrifying reality of living with a violent and manipulative partner. This episode stands out for its honest, unflinching look at domestic violence, psychological control, and the strength it takes to survive when evil is living right beside you. The story begins with Eline's mugshot of Matt, the man who would change her life forever. She doesn't recognize the person in the photo, and it's clear from the start that the man she fell in love with is not the monster she came to know. Eline grew up in Oslo, Norway, and after finishing high school, she wanted more than the traditional path. She moved to North Carolina, excited to experience life in America. She started working as a nightclub promoter, where she met Matt, a bouncer who seemed charming, funny, and strong. At first, everything felt right. They clicked, found things in common, and Eline believed she had found someone she could see herself with long-term. But as Eline looks back, she realizes she was falling in love with someone who was playing a role. The man she thought she knew didn't really exist. The first signs of trouble appeared when Matt showed her a video of himself violently attacking someone at the club. He was proud of it, almost bragging, and Eline was horrified. She started to see that Matt used his job as a way to let out his aggression and exert power and control over others. Still, she convinced herself that he would never use that kind of force on her. After all, he loved her, right? But she was wrong. Things escalated quickly. Eline discovered Matt was living a double life when she walked into his house and met another woman who was pregnant with his child. The confrontation was chaotic and frightening, with Matt physically restraining the other woman and threatening Eline. He told her to leave and never come back, warning that he would kill her if she did. Eline was shaken, but she still tried to believe in the relationship, thinking maybe things could work if she gave him another chance. She was young, naive, and new to the dating culture in the US, not realizing how casual and complicated things could get. Eventually, Matt suggested they get married so Eline wouldn't have to leave the country. She agreed, not fully understanding the consequences of tying herself to someone so dangerous. After the wedding, things went downhill fast. Matt became controlling, demanding that Eline dress modestly, do all the housework, and constantly worry about his reactions to everything she did. She started to feel trapped, ashamed to tell her family about the abuse, and determined not to be a failure. Eline's isolation grew, and Matt's temper got shorter and more violent. The turning point came when Eline found out she was pregnant. Matt's reaction was chilling. He told her he already knew, because he had been secretly tampering with her birth control pills, replacing them with placebos so she would get pregnant. It was another way for him to control her, to make sure she couldn't leave. Eline felt completely betrayed, realizing that Matt was manipulating every aspect of her life. The abuse continued to escalate. Matt would become furious over small things, especially if Eline talked to friends about their marriage. During one argument, with their baby in the room, Matt choked Eline until she blacked out, then tried to revive her as if nothing had happened. The physical violence was matched by emotional abuse. Matt would threaten to take their son away if Eline ever tried to leave, using the child as a pawn to keep her trapped. Eline was alone, far from her family, and not an American citizen, so she felt she had no choice but to stay and try to protect her son. The most terrifying moment came on January 6, 2021. Eline was in the kitchen with her son when Matt burst in, looking like a stranger. He attacked her with a pocket knife, stabbing her repeatedly in front of their 3-year-old scrun. Eline described the horror of seeing her child watch as she was beaten and stabbed, unable to feel pain because she was in shock. Matt tried to leave with their son, but Eline managed to get up and chase after him, desperate to protect her child. Matt handed the boy to a neighbor, then ran back upstairs and knocked Eline out. She remembers nothing after that, but witnesses later told her that Matt continued to stab her, then threw her over the balcony, her head hitting the concrete below. Miraculously, Eline survived. She woke up in the hospital, her first thought being for her son. She learned that he was safe, placed with a trauma foster family. But the emotional scars ran deep. Eline had to be told by doctors what had happened to her body. stab wounds, broken ribs, a broken nose. She struggled to process the trauma, especially when her son, on a phone call, said, "You're not my mommy because my mom's dead." The pain of hearing her child say that was almost too much to bear. Despite everything, Eline fought to recover. She was eventually reunited with her son, and the moment was filled with overwhelming relief and gratitude. She knew that if just one thing had gone differently, she might not have survived to see her child again. Eline credits her son as the reason she made it through, the light that kept her going through the darkest times. The ending of the episode is both heartbreaking and hopeful. Eline reflects on how Matt used their child to control her, threatening to take him away if she ever left. She stayed not because she wanted to, but because she couldn't bear the thought of leaving her son with a psychopath. Eline's story is a powerful reminder of how abusers use manipulation, isolation, and fear to keep their victims trapped. But it's also a story of survival, resilience, and the determination to reclaim her life. Eline now surrounds herself with supportive friends and family, living life to the fullest and taking advantage of her second chance. She's grateful for every moment with her son, who is nothing like his father, and she's determined to break the cycle of abuse. The episode ends on a note of hope, with Eline looking forward to the future, stronger and wiser for everything she's endured. Evil Lives Here, Season 18, Episode 4, is a gripping, emotional episode that shines a light on the hidden horrors of domestic violence and the courage it takes to escape. Through Eline's story, viewers see the warning signs of abuse, the tactics of control, and the devastating impact on families. It's a must-watch for anyone who wants to understand the reality of living with evil and the strength it takes to survive